Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is YAHMAD. We're going to be looking at paper 3 from the CIE ICT IGCSE course, and I'm going to continue doing some of the older papers, so we're going to be focusing on October-November 2017. Now, I'm redoing a website section using Microsoft Expression Web 4. So previously I've created these videos using Adobe Dreamweaver. So if there's any graphics part, I'm going to be using paint.net. So paper 3 is a 2-hour and 30-minute long paper, which also includes data analysis, which is the spreadsheet section. So let's go down to the first part. So the evidence document, since I've already started this paper or completed this paper, I've got the evidence document complete in some sections, and I've deleted the print screens so we can redo some of the print screens using Expression Web 4. Right, so I've got my name. Yep, that's fine. So what do we need to do? So we're focusing on the website section. So let's scroll down to page 6. So before we start this task, we've got a couple of questions which we can complete in the evidence document. A new website is being developed. At the design stage, you create a test plan. In your words, identify 2 factors that need to be considered when designing an effective test plan. So to get the answer for this question, I'm going to go to my revision presentation. So if I go to my website, if I click on this tab here, paper 3, and then if you open up this tab here, Microsoft Web Expression Overview, and if you go to the last few slides, here we go. So user testing. So testing the website, factors that must be considered when designing an effective test plan. So what we could say is the purpose of the website, if it's fit for purpose, the target audience. So what is the question again? Let me just read the question. So identify 2 factors that need to be considered when designing an effective test plan. So 2 things that we could include is the website fit for purpose? We also need to consider the target audience as well. So the first 2 points which we can write down is the purpose of the website and the target audience. So these are 2 things we have to consider when designing an effective test plan. Okay, the second thing is identify 2 methods of testing a web page. Okay, so again, we're going to enter this into our evidence document. If I go back to the revision document, okay, there's 2 types of testing. The first type of testing is functional testing. And this is where the developers may test each part of the website. So they may check to see if the hyperlinks are working from the correct text or image. Do hyperlinks to anchors or bookmarks within the page work? So if you go to the bottom of the page and if you click the link, does it return you back to the top of the page? Do hyperlinks to other pages in the site work? Do hyperlinks to email, email editing software work? Do hyperlinks to email have the correct address and subject line? So do the email links have the correct email address, and does the correct subject line appear? And do all external hyperlinks work to existing URLs? So this is functional testing, where we test in each part of the website. We also have alpha and in-house testing. So this is where our in-house team is tasked with finding errors with the website. They could focus on the HTML or CSS code. So the developers are not actually involved in this process. It might be a separate team that will test the website to find common mistakes. So for our answer, we need to just basically identify 2 methods. So the 2 methods could be functional alpha testing. Right, so let's now move down to the main part of this question. So you work for Hot House Design and you will assist a trainee web programmer in developing a web page to advertise the island of Cozumel, I think it's called. The web page and style sheet must work in any browser and use the most efficient methods. All color codes are in hexadecimal. So before we do anything, we need to create a new folder called HTML_173. So if you go to your folder, let's go to our source folder. Let's make a new folder. Let's call it HTML_173. And then now what we need to do is we need to move the following files and place them into this folder here. So locate the following files and store them into your HTML_173 folder. Okay, so the best thing to do is change the view to detail. So you right click your mouse, go to view and select details. And we first need to move these pictures A, B, so let's do two at a time. So A and B. If I press Control, we can select multiple files. Let's move these two pictures first. Then you got BG and then C at the end. So let's move these two. You got the HTML page, and then you got D, E, F, G, H pictures. So this page here, so D, E, F, and G. And finally, we need to move the style sheet. So that's the CSS file. Okay. Did I miss? Yeah, I missed this one here, 17.3H as well. So let me move that. And let's click and open a folder. Let's go to view details to see all of the file types. Okay, so the first screenshot we're going to take is to show the contents of our HTML_173 folder, and we're going to place this into our evidence document. Make sure the folder name, image, dimensions, and all file names, extensions are clearly visible. So the folder name is evidenced up here, so we need to make sure that's included in the print screen. Image dimensions is not shown, so what we can do, we can click up here on tags and select dimensions. So we've got the dimensions of the pictures now. All file names, extensions, and sizes are clearly visible. So we've got the file name, we've got a file type, and we've got what else do we need? Yeah, and sizes are clearly visible. So let's take the first print screen, and this is evidence 3. Just press backspace there. And when you paste in, crop off the parts which is not required. Okay, and then increase the size of the print screen. So what we have here is the folders structure at the top. This shows we're in this particular folder. We've got the file names, we've got the file dimensions, we've got a file size, and a file type. Okay, let me save the changes. So that's that part done. Let me just highlight it as complete. Okay, so question 23. So you're going to open a web page 173 Cozumel, if I'm pronouncing that right, .htm in your editor and in your web browser. So let me open up Microsoft Web Expression first of all. Okay, it's taken a while, so we need to first of all open this page in the browser. So let's close down this one here. To open a page, you go to File, Open, and then what we need to do is locate our source folder. So if we go to Web Expression 2000, we're doing a winter October paper. So the source folder in here, and you want to open up this page here. Let me double check. Yeah, 173 Cozumel. Open. So let's switch the view to design view. Okay, and it also says open a page in your web browser. So Microsoft Expression Web 4 is the editor software, and we need to also see this page in the browser. So if we go to File, Preview in Browser, so let's go to Chrome, we can see the page in the browser. Okay, so now what we need to do is carefully examine the web page and the images 173A to H JPEG. Select the most appropriate image from 173A to H and place this in the table. So here we have the table here, and we have to place image from step 23, which is this step here. And we also need to add appropriate alternative text to this image. So the first thing we notice is this cell here. I want to find out the size of this cell. So if I right click and go to cell properties, you can see the cell is 250 pixels wide and the height is 443. So first of all, we need to find a picture that's going to fit within this cell. Okay, so let me just press cancel. Okay, so if I go to my folder now, so we're going to basically be looking at this picture. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. And already I'm going to rule out this picture here because the file size dimensions don't fit. Okay, this one, it doesn't fit as well. This one, 173C, the dimensions fit within the cell. So let me just double check again. What was the cell size? So it's 250. Yeah, so this picture C could be a potential choice. This picture here, D, I think the file size looks like it's going to be too small. Okay, E, again, the dimensions of the picture, 4,000 by 3,000. Sorry, let me say that again. 4,000 by 3,000. That's going to be too big to insert into that placeholder. F looks too big as well. Okay, and we got G. So G looks like it's going to fit within that cell. So the two options we have right now is C and G, and H looks like it's going to be too small. It's not going to fit in the cell. So between the two options, between C and G, both have the same file size. The only thing different is G, the file size or the dimensions of the pictures are both the same. However, G has a smaller file size. C, you can see 68 kilobytes. So the option I'm going to go with is going to be G. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this picture here, this text here. Okay, insert picture from file. Let me go to my folder. So I'll go to Documents, Web Expression 2017. And I'm going to select the picture G. Okay, so if I click on Insert, I think these are pictures of a ship or a cruise ship. So let me just double check. Yeah, it looks like they're all pictures of a cruise ship, as you can see, apart from that one there. So for the alternative text, let me enter cruise ship. Okay, and you can see the picture fits in. Okay, and yes, it's portrait orientation as well. So the problem with the other pictures was if I just open them up one at a time, so the dimensions of this picture was far too big, and this is landscape, so it wasn't going to fit in the cell. I think B, let me just change this to details again. B again, it was 1,664 by 3,000, so the file size would have been too big to fit within the size of the cell. C was a good option, however the file size was bigger than G, so C could also be a potential option. Let's look at D. I think D would have been too small, so yep, so can you see the size of actual dimensions of D is too small. And E is landscape, so that would have been an issue fitting into the cell. F, let me see, F. Again, the file dimensions would have been too big to fit in. G is the one we went for. Correct size, portrait orientation. Okay, and the file size was also suitable as well. And then H probably would have been too small, as you can see here. Okay, so that's that done. So question 23. Now we need to, I think, evaluate. So evaluate in your own words your choice of image in step 23. So for evidence 4, in your own words, type your evaluation into your evidence document using no more than 100 words. So since I've done this task previously, the first thing we identified was the dimensions for the placeholder. So that was basically the cell size. So I right clicked and I got the size of the cell, which was 250 by 443. Or was that the picture I clicked on? So the first thing that we did was we got the dimensions of the cell. It was 250 pixels wide, and already that eliminated some of these pictures. So obviously these pictures did not fit within that dimension. The The closest one was obviously C, which is 240 wide, and G, which is also 240 pixels wide. The placeholder is in a portrait orientation, so some of these pictures were landscape, and obviously those pictures were ruled out. Image A and E rejected because they were landscape. Images B and F are too large for the placeholder, and images D and H were too small for the placeholder. So this is what you could write for the evaluation. Since there's only 4 marks, you should only write 4 things, but I've included an extra thing as well. So the things you need to identify is the actual size of the cell that the pictures will go into, the orientation, is it landscape, is it portrait, and maybe some reasons why you rejected some pictures. Okay, right. Okay, let's now move on to question 25. Replace the text, place your candidate details here with your name, center number and candidate number. So let's find that text. So place your candidate details here. So let's write first of all my name. Okay, then we can include, let me double check. Yeah, the center number, I'll use 5, 6, 7, 8, and then for my candidate number, I'll use 1, 2, 3, 4. So center number 5, 6, 7, 8, candidate number 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's that part done. The next line is place, next question is place a non-breaking space between a colon and your candidate details. So this is a space here. So what we need to do is to include a non-breaking space between a colon and your candidate details. So to do that, what you need to do is basically click after the colon, and then if you go to the code view, if you type in and, then type in N for no breaking space. If we select this option here, so and NBS or NBSP, what this will do, if you go back to design view, it will put a space in between here. So despite there being a space, this line will not break into 2 separate lines. Okay, so that's that part done. Question 26. Add a title to the head section of your web page which displays CTB homepage. So let me copy this. Now to add a title, if I just right click anywhere on the page and click on page properties, we can enter a title here. Okay, so make sure you include CTB as capital letters, press OK, and then if we go to the code, hopefully the title should also be at the top in between the heads as well. Okay, so we have the opening title tag and then a closing title tag with a backward slash. Okay, so that's that part done. Let's move forward. Okay, so now what we need to do is place a bookmark, sometimes you can call it an anchor, before the table at the top of the page. So we want to insert something on the top of the page. The best way of doing this is going to the code view, and just after body, if you just press enter, so make sure the cursor is flashing here, go back to design view, go to insert bookmark, and we're going to call this top. Okay, so you can't see the bookmark, but if you go to the code view, there's a piece of code that's been included for the bookmark. So the bookmark name is top. Okay, so we basically dropped an anchor or a bookmark. So now what we need to do is, okay, so we've done that part. Using the text in a lower cell of the table, create a hyperlink from the text, click on this link. Okay, so let me find that text, click on this link. So we need to make this into a hyperlink. So if I right click, select hyperlink, it's going to return to our bookmark. So if we go to place in this document, this is our bookmark. So let me read the whole question. So create a hyperlink from the text, click on this link to return the user to the bookmark which we created at the top of the page. Okay, so let's press OK. You can see this now becomes a hyperlink. If you go to the code view, you can see the hyperlink to return back to the anchor which we replaced, or the bookmark we placed at the top of the page, which is called top. To check to see if this is working, if you save the changes and then go to your browser, so if we go to Chrome, What should happen is if you go to the bottom of the page, you click on this link, it returns you back to the top of the page. Yep, so that's working. The next question is create a hyperlink from the text CTB. Where's CTB now? So if we go to here, yep, so here is the text. Let's right click, select hyperlink. To open a web page, so this page here, so I'm going to copy the full address in. So if I go to existing file web page, let's enter the full address at the bottom. Okay. Now sometimes they may ask you to open the page on a new window, so you click on target frame and click on new window. Since it's not asking us, I don't think, create a hyperlink from the text, open a web page. Yep, it's not asking us, so we can just press OK. So now this has become a hyperlink. You can go to the code, you see the link for, or the code for this particular hyperlink. Right, and the next part is to, I think, insert an email link. So create a hyperlink from the text, email our design team. So email our design team. So let me just highlight this text here, hyperlink again. To send an email to webdesign@hothousedesign.co.uk. So let me copy this. Since it's going to be an email link, let's click on email address, type in address, go to your subject line, with the subject line, my question. Oops, let's go back to expression. Done. Okay, and all of these hyperlinks will only work on the browser. Your email link may not work if your email client has not been installed or configured to work on your computer. But the main thing is, if I press save and then if you go to code, what's going to be marked is this piece of code here, mailed to, then the email address, and then for the subject line you got my question. So if you were writing just a code, you would write question mark subject equal to include a subject line. However, in expression it does it for you, to be honest, so makes your life so much more easier. So let's highlight that as complete. Question 28. Attach the file 173st.css as an external style sheet to your page. Now to attach style sheet, make sure you got the Manage Styles panel open. Click on Attach Style Sheet, go to Browse. Let me double check the name, 173, yeah, that's the one. Open, OK, and H1 has been added in. So not much difference to the page yet. So I think the next point will be to edit the style sheet. Okay, so what we need to do is open the style sheet using a suitable software package. So we can still use Expression to open up the style sheet. So let me go to File, Open. Let me open up the style sheet. So we only have one tag for H1 so far. Now the next thing which we need to do is add your name, center number and candidate number as a comment to the top of the style sheet. So what you can do is click before H1, press enter a few times. To add a comment you need to enter / and then enter your name. So you can see all of the text is now turned into green. We have to close the comment to make sure it doesn't apply to the CSS tags. So I've got my name. Let me include my center number and then my candidate number. So my center number 5678 and then my candidate number, * and /. That will close the comment and you can see now this H1 becomes active again. Right, let's see the next part. This web page and style sheet must work in any browser and use the most efficient methods. All color codes are in hexadecimal. Edit the style sheet. Make sure your style sheet contains no HTML. The style sheet must meet these specifications. Okay, so heading 1. The font style is going to be Arial, but if it's not available, then Calibri. If these fonts are not available, then the browser's default sans serif. Okay. Right, so what we can do is we can go to here and we can click on Modify Style. So what do we need to do? So it's going to be Arial. If not, then Calibri, if I'm saying it right, which is right so far. If these fonts are not available, than the browser's default sans serif. So let me just copy this in at the end. Let me press comma. Okay. The color is going to be red, no green, no blue or green. So the color of the text should be red. So we can select pure red. Okay, and then center align the text. So if we go to block, text align, we can click on center, click on apply. That's that part done. Okay, so for paragraph style, the text will be fully justified. So we need to create a new tag for paragraph. So we simply type in P and go to block, text align, justify, apply. Okay, now for the web page background, we need to create a body tag. So some people may be confused into writing background here, but we need to create a body tag which will edit the background. And what we need to do is set this picture here, so 173bg.jpg as the background image. So if we go to background, browse 173bg as a background picture. If you press open, and the next thing we need to do is make sure it's tiled repeated. Okay, so we go to background repeat and we select repeat. Okay, and that's going to override the browser's default settings. So all that part is done. Okay, for table, we're not going to have any borders, so no external borders or no internal borders. Okay, so what we're going to do, because we want to use the most efficient markup, let's type in table, comma, td, and if we go to border, we can set the border to 0 pixels. So that will apply for both the internal and external properties for the border. And then we have individual properties for the border. So the cell padding will be 10 pixels, and the background color for the table only will be blue. Okay, well, let me just do this first. So let's create a separate table tag to include the padding. So if I type in table, I think if we go to box, yep, what is the padding again? So cell padding is 10 pixels. So we can keep this option ticked, so it's going to be 10 pixels for all of them. Okay, and the background color, so if we go to background, so the table background color will be this. And make sure you don't get confused, do the red elements first. So it's going to be RGB, so we type in, let me get my hashtag first of all. So for red, we'll have 99. Green will be BB. Okay, and then blue will be DD. So RGB, so red, green, blue. Let's click apply. Job done. Okay, so before we move on, just let me explain. This table and TD, we could have done it separately. However, since we have to use the most efficient syntax, since both borders, external and internal, were not being shown, it's best to do it like this. So table, comma, TD, and the border size will be 0 pixels. Right, save the style sheet into your folder. So since we've not been given a new file name, we can just basically save it over the existing style sheet. Okay, then we have to take a screenshot showing the content of your style sheet, place this into your evidence document. So let's press print screen. Is it? Yes, it's evidence 5. So and what you want to do is make sure you crop off the parts which are not relevant. Make sure you include the file name, so the file name is shown here, and make sure you can also see your comments, which should be at the top of your style. Okay, so once we've done that, refresh the browser. So hopefully we've got this page here. Yep, so refresh the style sheet. Okay, let me just go back to here. So it's changed here. Let me just go to save the page, preview in browser. Yeah, it has changed. It's just taken a while. So the CSS has been applied, and you can see we've got no borders or grid lines showing. We have a background picture which has been tiled, and then we have a color for the table as well. Okay, so what do we need to do? So evidence 6, display the page in a browser. Take a screenshot evidence of the page and place this into your evidence document. So what I'm going to do is just zoom out slightly so you can see all of the page. Let me take a print screen. It's more obvious now, the picture has been tiled in the background, repeated. So let me paste in this picture now. So okay, so we can crop off the part which is not necessary. Maybe we can increase the size. The show is in a browser, so make sure you don't crop off the top part of the browser window. Okay, and we've come into the end of this paper now, or this section. Evidence 7, take a copy of the HTML source and place this into your evidence document. So if you go back to your web expression, go to code, and you basically have to copy all of the code. So what's going to be marked in the code is the fact that the style sheet has been attached. We have an anchor, a bookmark at the top of the page. We've got alternative text for the pictures, a cruise ship. Okay, then all of the hyperlinks, including email links, and yep. So let me copy this code. There's lots of marks to be gained from copying this code. And let me paste this in. So right click and paste. Okay, it doesn't really matter if it goes on many pages as long as the HTML is visible. Okay, let's save the changes. You don't need to format the HTML. And we've now come to the end of the website section for October, November 2017. So just before we finish, let's look at the evidence document. The first evidence was a couple of questions on creating a test strategy. So if I go back up the paper, so where are we looking? So here we go. 2 factors that need to be considered when designing an effective test plan. So you need to know, obviously, the purpose of the website and who the target audience will be. The second thing we had to talk about is 2 methods of testing a website. So we had functional testing, where we test in each part, and an alpha testing or in-house testing is where a team is tasked with the task of testing a website. It won't be the developers, it will be a separate team, okay, and they could be checking to see if the code is correct, the CSS is correct, and everything is working as it should. The next print screen was a copy of your folder. So we created a HTML_173 folder, and it's just evidence to show that we've moved the files into that folder. And we also had to show extra properties for each of the files. So you can simply right click and you can select additional properties at the top just by selecting the boxes here. Okay, what else did we print screen? Then we had a question about selecting a suitable image. Okay, and then we had a print screen of the CSS, the print screen of the browser, and finally all of the HTML. Okay, so let me save the changes. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. Please like and share this video. Hopefully I will be completing the rest of the 2017 papers using Microsoft Expression Web 4. Thanks again for your time. Please like and share, and please, if you haven't already done so, subscribe below. Thanks again for your time.